So this is the standard Capital One Duo, and it's beloved in all the credit card points a mile space because it's a simplistic setup, only requires 2 cards, decent annual fee, but covers the widest array of travel experiences and everyday spending. But you know as well as I do that many people in this credit card points a miles game, once you get a lot of different credit cards, it gets subsequently harder to get approved for the Venture X in the first place. Either that, or you're really trying to covet your Chase 524 status, so you never really want to apply for the Savor card itself. And even in those cases, sometimes people get denied for the Savor card when they're not pre-approved for it on their website. Or a third type of person is somebody who already has maybe high-level cards that give you lounge access, what have you, like the Amex Platinum card, and can't really justify adding another $395 annual fee card to their arsenal. So maybe one of those three situations applies to you, and that's why today I want to introduce you to not just the Capital One Duo, but what I'm calling the Backdoor Poor Man's Capital One Duo. That's right. It's that's right. This setup right here of the Venture Rewards card and the Savor card has quickly and pretty suddenly become one of my favorite setups that I own currently for a multitude of different reasons. But the way I was able to acquire not only the Poor Man's Capital One Duo, but then also the standard Capital One Duo is the most ridiculous roundabout way that you would ever consider getting this done. So let me tell you a story of how I was able to get these 3 credit cards for just one credit card application, and also just a few things that I'm excited about with this setup, and to see if this works for you as well. So first and foremost, the elephant in the room. For those of you who are unaware, I have the Venture X card, and you might be wondering, like, Anthony, you never did a Watch Me Apply. What's the deal here? How do you have a Capital One Venture X? And if you've been following the channel for a little bit, you know that my best friend, Calby NG, he has his own Venture X, and he has since added me as an authorized user to his Venture X. So he added me as one of his 4 authorized users, and for that, I am eternally grateful for him. Now, one, that's great because for no annual fee whatsoever on my end, I have access to not only Capital One lounges, but also Priority Pass lounges through the Capital One Venture X. But I understand that that's also hinging on the fact that Calby is a great friend, and he may not even keep that card open forever. And so while it's great to have, while I have it, it's not really benefiting me in a standard way that most people would get by actually having the card themselves. So that's why I kind of want to really isolate the Poor Man's Capital One Duo, because I think it's way more powerful than you would imagine. Now, this all started when a couple of months ago when I applied and got approved for the Capital One Venture Awards. And the offer that I got actually is still active right now down in the pin comment below if you're interested, but you earn 75,000 bonus miles and a $250 Capital One travel credit, which is actually a little bit higher than that of the Venture X card of just 75,000 bonus miles. So you get 75,000 and an additional $250, and depending on the referral you use, you could actually get 100,000 miles for the Venture Awards card. It also earns 2x miles on every purchase, just like the Venture X. It earns 5x miles on hotels, vacation rentals, car rentals. You get a $120 global entry credit, which I actually just got the other day, and you get all of that for a $95 annual fee card. And just clicking around wanting to see if I was pre-approved, I ended up going through, I saw if I was pre-approved, and I was, to which I subsequently applied and was approved right then and there. But this wasn't necessarily good because now this opened me up to a whole nother ecosystem to earn currency at, to use that for future travels in the future. And as soon as I dive into something, I want to dive heavy. So I was thinking about it and I was like, wait a second, why am I someone who doesn't have the Capital One Duo? And for somebody that was pre-approved for the Venture X, but decided to go with the Venture because I like the welcome offer a little bit more and didn't want to foot the bill of a $400 annual fee, even despite all the credits that it gives you, I decided to go with the Venture. But then I realized, like, wait a second, am I missing out by not having a Savor card? Because I learned over the years is that all of the cash back that you earn on a Savor card, like the 3% cash back you earn on grocery stores, dining, entertainment, streaming services, etc., all of the cash back that you earn on the $0 annual fee card can be converted over to miles when you have a Venture card or a Venture X card. That's right, both of these cards do earn miles, and both of these cards you can transfer the cash back to miles, which is very important for our whole game. But then I ran into a bit of a problem because one, I don't have a Savor card at this time, and two, I don't actually want to apply for a Savor card at this time because, well, there's plenty of other cards out there on the personal side that I would rather get to get way more value from the welcome offer, and I don't want to take an unnecessary hard pull, 3 hard pulls with Capital One, and a 524 hit because I'm still trying to covet my 524 status while I can. To which, if you're not going to apply for it, you really only have one other option, which is product change or upgrade your existing Capital One card to the Savor card. In this case, I had the Capital One Platinum card, but unfortunately, for no reason whatsoever, before all this started happening with Capital One, I actually got an upgrade offer from my Capital One unsecured to a Capital One Quicksilver card. And unfortunately, at that time, this was the only upgrade available. And now, since I have checked, I've never seen another option to upgrade the card or product change it from a Quicksilver over to a Savor. So I kind of felt it was completely out of luck, and maybe down the line I would apply for the Savor, but then some idea kind of struck. And I went to look on my wife's account because my wife also has Capital One cards. I said, I remember her brother not too long ago actually got a Capital One Platinum card just like I had, and he was able to product change over to the Savor as soon as he got the card for the most part. So I said, wait a second. So I went on my wife's account, and sure enough, the upgrade offer was there. So what did we do? We ended up going on her account, upgrading her Capital One Platinum card that doesn't give her anything anyway, over to the Savor card. So this one in my hand is my wife's Savor card. But then you might be wondering, how did I get my own Savor card? How do I also have one? And this is where the craziness kind of came in. And it all started when I saw this Reddit thread right here, posted a couple of years ago, but applicable today, which was a situation where his wife was considering getting the Savor, but he has a Venture X. And the one thing that he found by doing an update right here to this post, he actually updated that his wife ended up applying and getting approved for the Savor card and added him as an account manager. Now, at this time, I didn't know what an account manager was. Now I do because I am one. And this is the backdoor key into unlocking the Capital One Duo for anybody who has a Venture X or a Venture like me. But he found that once he added his wife as an account manager to his Venture X, as the account owner, his wife, who has the Savor card, she was able to move her cash back from her Savor over to his Venture X card. Okay, so just to isolate it, right? His wife's Savor card was able to earn cash back on her everyday spending and was able to transfer it over to his Venture X card. That's right, not hers, his Venture X card. All because he added her as what's considered an account manager. Now, adding someone as an account manager, there's no hard pulls. It's not an authorized user, so you're not going to be hit with anything like that related. And make sure if you're calling on the phone to do this, that you say account manager and it's not an authorized user. Sometimes they don't know the difference. So make sure you make that distinction. And so you can kind of see as clear as day, Savor card, and my name, Anthony, right there. You can see it is my card. AKA why I'm calling it the backdoor method, because I never had to apply for a Savor. My wife didn't even have to apply for it. She was just eligible for an upgrade. If you didn't have any of the Capital One cards, yeah, she would have had to apply for a Savor card. Same exact system. And why this is extremely important is because now she has been added as an account manager under my Venture card, which means all of the cash back that she earns on the Savor can now be converted and transferred over to mine in miles. And why that's important for everybody in this credit card space, if you want to say it with me, Capital One transfer partners. That's right. So all the cash back that my wife earns on the Savor card can now be converted to miles, and I can transfer them out to British Airways. I can go to Emirates. I could transfer it over to Aeroplan. Every single partner airline that Capital One has, we both now have access to via just my $95 Venture card, which is pretty much like the same exact reason most people have the Chase Sapphire Preferred anyway, is because they earn their points via the Chase Freedom Flex or Unlimited, transfer it to the Chase Sapphire Preferred, and then transfer those points out to partners to, fund all their trips. So I see no difference in paying $95 annual fee for a Venture every year to get an insane amount of value from the powerful nature of the cashback earned on the Savor. Like, for an example, for just a family that spends $500 a month on groceries multiplied by 12, that's $6,000 spent every single year times 3% back on the Savor. That's $180 in cash back, which then gets converted to miles at 18,000 Venture miles, which could then be transferred out to transfer partners and what have you. To which, if only 18,000 miles every single year, that's greatly outweighing, depending on how you use those miles, the $95 annual fee, in my opinion, not even factoring in dining or streaming services, all of that. And that's why I'm calling it the poor man's Capital One Duo, because, one, you're not getting the lounge access, you're not getting Priority Pass or Capital One lounge access, right? You're not getting the $300 travel credit, but For $300 less, the $95 annual fee, you are getting a lot of different value, which I want to showcase now. Which I guess the first thing is it's a metal card, so that's got to be worth something of the $95 annual fee, right? But then two, and you can see on the screen right here, all of my Capital One cards now, my authorized user for VentureX with Calby, her Savor, all I have are cards that are not actually mine. But you can see my venture right here, and with that, you unlock a lot of different things that I'm finding is extremely powerful with Capital One specifically. So the first thing was global entry. Like we finally needed global entry, my wife and I. So this actually covered the $120 application fee for global entry for me, but also some underlying benefits that I'm finding is truly powerful with not only the venture card, but I guess everything that it unlocks in the Capital One travel portal and Capital One shopping, which we'll talk about. But the first thing is a lot of people talk about the Venture X being like, oh, I love Hertz presidential status. And I remember when they said they were taking it away back then, they were like, oh, this nerfs the Capital One Venture X, right? It eventually became more permanent. But one thing that most people wouldn't even realize is that the Capital One Venture card is actually a MasterCard World Elite. And those who also have been following the channel for a little bit, you know that basically most MasterCard World Elites, even the Savor card is also a MasterCard World Elite. Both of these cards give you Hertz presidential status as well. That's right. They literally give you Hertz presidential status without needing the Venture X in the first place. Now, there's a discrepancy on how long it takes. Some people say the MasterCard World Elite only lasts a year. My year anniversary is coming up soon, so I'll give you an update on that if it doesn't last forever. The Venture X technically would be every year that they have the benefit on there, and as long as you're paying that annual fee, but I digress. But at least just call it a year of Hertz presidential status between each of these cards, which I really think you could renew every year. But it's not automatic, and it's not a forward-facing benefit and perk, but it is a thing that exists. If you want to learn how to do that, basically, I'll put it on the screen right here, but you just DM Hertz Messenger on Facebook. I'm not even kidding. You go on there, take a picture of your World Elite MasterCard. So put this number in here and put your Hertz number in, and literally, no joke, the first time I did it, within 5 minutes, they messaged back on Messenger and said, okay, you're upgraded to Hertz Presidential. So you don't actually really lose that by having the Venture versus the Venture X. And the other cool thing about that is I think MasterCard World Elite, even Visa Signature and Infinite as well, give you status with Avis car rentals. And then even with Hertz Presidential, you can just status match that over to Enterprise. I think it's called Emerald. So basically all of your high-end car rental statuses with one particular card. But again, you could do it with the Savor as well. Another thing that I think is supremely powerful that I'm starting to get really interested in is one thing that I actually learned through Mr. What's Daniel Doing in the Discord. I actually did a whole video with him. I still have to edit it. But he and a lot of people in my live streams over the past year have taught me the value of Capital One offers. And I always thought I wasn't somebody who would take advantage of offers because I really just spend at a couple of places. I don't really do things outside the norm. I don't buy random things. I really just, go to Publix and that's it. But he showed me that you could actually get some tours through Viator right here where you could earn 7x miles. That's right, 7x miles on everything that you're going to be paying for. So like for all these tours that we're going to be doing in a lot of different countries, all of that could be earning 7x Capital One miles on all those purchases. Like forget it, we'll probably end up spending at least $500 worth of tours. That's an extra 3,500 miles. Whereas if I wasn't aware of that, I wouldn't even get any miles whatsoever. I would just pay cash, hit a welcome offer maybe. But now you could actually earn some miles back, some value back for some other future upcoming trips, all for money that you were going to spend anyway. Also get your guide, which we know Amex has a whole partnership with. You could also get through their 9x miles on all of their tours and whatnot. Hilton, like if you were going to be paying for a cash stay, which you never know, 10x miles. Etsy 13x, a lot of people go to Etsy, are on here and you could actually get some value back. In fact, I actually saw something when I was scrolling through before. Discount tire, oddly enough, 4x miles back. I literally was going to buy wheels for my Tesla to have a spare tire on road trips that I thought I was going to get nothing back on, but now I could actually earn 4x miles back on that purchase, which I think is also pretty powerful. And even, I probably won't even take advantage of it, but if I ever did, you do have access to the Lifestyle Collection, which is a step down from the Capital and Venture X's Premier Collection. But essentially, it's like Amex's FHR, but like an abridged version. It's a cheaper version. You don't get as great benefits. You get a $50 experience credit instead of $100. The room upgrades, check-in, late checkout, if all of them are available. But at least having the potential to book this program if I really needed to would be cool. I don't foresee actually booking anything through there, but at its base level, the foundational level, just to earn a great currency, 3% back at an easy rate for a $0 annual fee card that could all be converted converted over to the venture card for miles that can then be transferred to transfer partners for other aspirational trips in the future. I think that alone kind of makes this setup worth it, the poor man's Capital One Duo. But this is kind of an issue, right? Because, well, I talk about this setup, but what about the actual Capital One Duo? Well, if you want to hear the story of the man who's getting a lot of value from this Capital One Duo every single year, check out Eric Gao in the video we did together right here, where he recounts all the value he gets from his Capital One Duo every single year. So I hope you see you there. I hope you get some value from it. As always, thank you guys for being here to the end. I appreciate every single one of you. Take care, travel, and be safe. Have fun.